What the fuck am I even watching? Hello guys, my name is Kiminek and today I present you for Dummies, series in which I play a certain tank, review it and then cry myself to sleep. Then wake up and tell you how to play it and then cry myself to sleep once again because goddamn the Germans are so difficult to grind. Like who the fuck designed it? Yeah, I can answer myself that, but still, they were like godlike in the actual war. So how the fuck did Wargaming manage to fuck them up so bad in this game?
Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this.
Fucking Russian bias. Whatever, today I'll be talking about the Pz.Kpfw. What the fuck is that name? You know which tank I mean. This tank has skirts, and what's that? Skirts, but they are no ordinary skirts.
It's a combat skirt. Yeah.
This thing is generally used for money making, if you got no premium account that is, so not many people actually use it. I take that back. This thing used to be played as a non-premium moneymaker, but nowadays people usually play it just for the sheer fact that it leads to mouse. A tank so heavy that a mere battle across the street can give it a heart attack. Then it also leads to the Ferdinand, which is also a tank so heavy that a mere battle across the street can give it a heart attack. And it also leads to the E100, which is... You know what, let's leave it with that all of these things are actually really fucking fat. They go to the same McDonald's, same milkshake bar and same DeviantArt page to find some. Alright, let's stop there since we all know what monstrosities appear regularly on DeviantArt.
Non-believer, you must spit on him.
This thing is mostly infamous due to its derp gun, which is sort of like the Sherman's gun, but better. It has 350 alpha damage and 63 penetration with the highest DPM out of all tier 5 tanks, but who the hell would ever use the standard AP shells if you can just become Irish and throw some potatoes at the enemy once you get mad? They don't even lose that much penetration and you get 60 bonus alpha damage, which I think is very nice. Also, the enemies are guaranteed to be diagnosed with HE positive from facing you. In other words, you are a mobile artillery that's spit on it. Sadly, the HE shell DPM that this tank has isn't that much higher than the AP shell DPM, so you can't expect yourself to double your damage outcome just by loading it full HE, the same way this little shit does. Also, please don't load in the APs, think you can pen anything that's in front of you. Remember, you got only 63 penetration. The enemy will get free 350 damage bounce just thanks to you. Understood? Alright, thanks. That doesn't mean you should never shoot them. Fuck me. Sadly, or maybe thankfully, this thing has no accuracy whatsoever. Or well, it has roughly the same accuracy as some of the worst Russian medium. So basically a 0 that isn't rushing B. So an actual 0. But what would you expect from a gun that's as short as this there? But Kiminek, the gun looks long enough to me. Really? Really?
Are you sure about that?
The other thing that this thing has, or more precisely doesn't have, is the armor. With its paper-thin thickness of 30mm all around, it can be penned by almost everything, and if you got a gun that's over 90mm thick, you will overmatch the majority of this thing. The only places which may have a slight chance to bounce something are these two red lines over the front of this vehicle, which are 80mm thick. Still bad, but at least a bit better. Overall, the only plate that will have a serious chance of actually bouncing any shells at all is surprisingly this tomato confidently sitting at the top of its tray. I think the dog is trying to rape you. You know how every nation has their own way of dealing with high explosives. Americans got their sandbags, Germans got their armor skirts, and Russians got their infantry, well,
Combat skirt.
are also a place where you might see some absorption happening, because anything that hits them at over 60-degree angle will be automatically absorbed. Easy. It also provides you some protection from high explosives, since as you might know, all of it is space armor, which will deep fry those potatoes before they even hit your tank, and the only thing that will end up hitting your tank are just french fries greatly salted with the tears of your enemies.
Salty.
The last thing that I haven't talked about yet is the speed.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
40 kilometers per hour. I know. You got a power to weight ratio high enough to go 60, but just like in some sadistic porn made by Wargaming, they won't give you the sweet release of using your engine to its fullest potential. However, this thing, unlike many others, is just a case of Wargaming taking out their nerf-elastic hammer. Yeah, sure, it's still a nerf, but it isn't like it's completely unrealistic or anything, since in reality this tank actually wasn't capable of going above 42 kilometers per hour. And this number got even worse with bigger bigger guns. Surprisingly enough, by bigger guns I don't mean this potato launcher of the lower class, but rather than that a long 7.5 centimeters gun which put too much stress at the front strings of the Pz.Kpfw suspension, causing it to wear out much sooner. Most of the time after the first time that the tank had to brake. Imagine if you had to take a shit and somehow forget about it and then realize it only once the tank got moving. The horror. Overall, once fully equipped, which honestly doesn't take that long, this tank wreaks havoc on the battlefield. To put that once fully equipped part into perspective, the Top Gun grind takes less of your time than looking for a Naruto episode that isn't a fucking filler. Really, this is a year's worth of fucking fillers. But actually even the stock guns are pretty alright. Sometimes. Maybe like once out of 10 games. It is capable of doing over like 10 speed. Just kidding, the stock guns are actually pretty decent for the fact that you will have to leave them behind eventually. Just read it, I ain't gonna read it all for you. Overall, the grind towards this tank is
very nice,
because you will start with the LOL tractor. Doesn't really need an explanation to why it is a good fucking tank. Then you get to the tier 2 and 3, both which are mediocre at best, but they are weak either. Eventually, you will get to the tier 4 Panzer 38 NA, which ever since the light tank matchmaking changes is just amazing, and there you got it. Going through 3 medium tanks labeled as light tanks for some fucking reason, then actual light tank which can do, well, scooting, and eventually you will end up with this turreted artillery. Now we get why everybody hates playing low tier Germans. The other tank tree is just flat out shit, so I ain't gonna talk about it. Grinding me on this tank will be also rewarding as it leads to the most influential tank in the German tech tree. It is probably as fun to play as playing T95 with damage engine and a gun. It is not fun. Trust me, it's pain. But you can at least get 4 different tiered attacks by grinding this tank for solid 2 fucking years. But hey, we aren't asking here if you will grind all of them, we are asking here if you can grind all of them. So yeah, that's a bit of a bonus. So though I doubt that anyone would be masochistic enough to do it. The equipment goes as follows: medium caliber tank gun rammer for some more DPM, then you take the improved ventilation class 2, because remember, you gotta be partying like a German inside. How exactly? Back to work. And it missed. And lastly, the enhanced gun laying drive, since the basic aim time of this tank is an absolute trash by the superior German standards. But that's about it if it comes to the equipment. Yeah, this equipment is quite an expensive one, especially for a tier 5 tank, and I doubt that any of you would like to pay quadruple the price of this tank just to, well. In my opinion, taking the gun rammer, binos and kiminekyt is gonna do just fine enough for you, since as I mentioned already, the aim time of this tank isn't exactly excellent, so you'll be standing a lot. If it comes to crew skills, start with either camo or repairs. Repairs are overall not needed all that much, and most of the time they'll be just repairing you mentally after a fucked up easy one shot, but the camo is also not needed. You got a potato launcher. Do you seriously need any explanation to why the camo sucks on this tank? Long story short, all the stuff that you can take on this tank as a first crew skill is shit. But well, just as they say, fake it till you make it. So though, pick depending on whether you want to play on the front line or the back line. Once you hit 100%, go for a 6th sense and situational awareness. Then start once again with camo or repairs, but now you got some empty spaces, so we can fill them up with the other choice from the previous camo or repairs. If you took repairs, now take camo, and vice versa. Then upon hitting 100% for a second time, go for smooth ride, snapshot and safe stowage. Then fill everything once again with repairs or camo. Again, depending on what you have taken as your previous skill. And then once again, after you hit 100% for a third time, drop 4 brothers in arms. Afterwards, you may finish with repairs or camo. No, not gonna say it again. Fuck you. And then you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. The gameplay of this tank is rather simple and straightforward.
This is how you eat a Big Mac, nigga. Nani? Cuz what the fuck?
One way of playing it is by simply being a bitch and keeping your ass in the back of your team while praying to the almighty Allah that the nukes your enemies are about to witness not evade. And cause some damage, obviously. This way you can deal some serious damage, and spotting apparently, while keeping yourself in a safe distance. The other way of playing this tank consists of pressing R a couple of times and you're good to go. all, you just go to the front line, alright? Well, yeah, I guess you could take the advantage of the 10 degrees of ground depression that this tank has and actually focus on working ridgelines, but that's your option that you can take. I'm not forcing you or anything like that. Overall, this thing doesn't have any sort of like a steep learning curve or anything like this. You can basically just pick it up and play it and you're gonna be a master at it. So it is a really freaking easy thing to just pick up and play, and mainly it is really fun thing to play with. Well, I personally hate this thing because it is really fucking inaccurate, but everybody's tastes are different. While I fucking hate this thing, you may love it. I don't know. It also is a pretty decent moneymaker, so if you are into making money with non-premium accounts, this thing is gonna be just for you. However, I'm talking about that just because I got nothing to talk about, and this script is just 1800 words long, so yeah, I guess I'm gonna be talking like a dumb twat for a bit to fill up the remaining space. I'm talking like a dumb twat for the entirety of the video, but that's in our case. Wait a second, this video is over 10 minutes long. Yeah boy, I'm actually pleased with myself and hope that the YouTube is pleased also, because you know, 10-minute mark. So though, to fill up the remaining space and also show you how dumb people can be in this game, I'm gonna show you one moment that happened to me a couple of days ago when I've been playing this thing, a dumbass T14. But before that, I'm gonna say my typical outro. Anyway, this is gonna be the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like. If you did not, please give it a dislike, because I wanna know whether or not I should improve. Don't worry, I will still improve, but you can help it by, you know, liking this video, sharing this video, commenting on this video, or subscribing to my channel. By the way, the subscribe is the best option over there. So though, you can share this video with your grandpa, with your grandfather, or whoever the fuck you want. Just simply share it with somebody to get me more popular and, you know, give me some that nice YouTube money. You know what am I talking about. So though, now to the replay.